Hey, how's it going everyone? This is Eric from allthingsfloor.com. In today's video, we're going to be talking about whether or not bamboo floors are an eco-friendly option. Now, about 20 years ago, we saw a huge uptick in the eco-friendly / eco-conscious / green movement. And with that came a huge uptick in bamboo flooring popularity. So now, 20 years later, we're starting to see that happen again. As people are becoming much more eco-conscious, they're looking for things for their everyday lives, like things in their home, things in their car, things that they're going to use every day that are not going to be harmful to the environment. So bamboo floors have once again moved closer to the top of the list in terms of popularity. And that's because most people assume that it is an eco-friendly option when compared to other types of wood floors. So you're probably wondering if that's true or not. So we're here to let you know that in general, bamboo floors can be an extremely eco-friendly option, and in many cases have a lot of the qualities that help to make it eco-friendly. So in today's video, what we're going to do is really try to help you find out the reasons why bamboo floors can be so eco-friendly, especially when compared to other options. But we're also going to give you some things that you should be on the lookout for that can be used during the manufacturing process that make bamboo floors and the manufacturing of bamboo floors actually harmful to the environment. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into it. So the first quality that make bamboo floors an eco-friendly option is that when you look at the stock that it's coming from, bamboo is actually a renewable option that doesn't need to be replanted. So there are thousands of acres of bamboo planted across the world, and two of the main reasons are because they grow back quickly, but also you can reharvest the same stock, the same plant, up to 150 times. So what happens is during harvest, the plants are actually cut without removing the roots. So you're not needing to replant any kind of seed or replant a new stock. You just cut it, and from that same root comes back new stalks. So again, you get up to 150 times a cycle on that single plant stock. Another reason why bamboo floors are a much more eco-friendly option is because bamboo grows back much more quickly than other types of hardwood floors. So if you're thinking of floors like maple and hickory and oak, which are typically used in hardwoods, those can take 10 plus years to reach maturity. On the other hand, bamboo can take anywhere between 3 and 5 years to reach maturity. So in the same amount of time that it's taking a traditional hardwood tree to grow and to mature, you can probably turn over that same bamboo stock around 3 times. In addition, bamboo can grow up to a foot per day in some instances. So not only are you getting a material that's growing much quicker, but you're getting tons of material to use for after each harvest. The next reason why bamboo floors can be such an eco-friendly option is because of its safe harvesting practices. So in many parts of the world where bamboo is still being grown, especially in China, they're still cutting down bamboo stalks by hand. So this makes it so that you're not using heavy machinery that can emit harmful gases into the environment to harvest the bamboo. So those bamboo stalks are cut by hand. Again, this is not in every instance, but in still a good chunk of instances where bamboo is being grown and harvested, it's still being cut by hand. So all these machines that you see cutting down other types of trees and other types of material to use for floors, that's not always the case when it comes to bamboo. And on that note, I think it's important to say that a lot of these bamboo forests are in developing countries. So because of the way they're harvested by hand, you're still giving work opportunities to those who may otherwise not have. Another reason why bamboo floors can be an eco-friendly option is because of the amount of greenhouse gases that the grass absorbs. So there have been a lot of studies to see how much carbon bamboo can actually absorb and store. In fact, there was a study done in Bolivia where they studied exactly this, and the research found that bamboo can actually absorb and store as much carbon as much larger oak trees. So this also shows bamboo's impact on the environment by absorbing carbon that can otherwise impact climate change. Finally, and one of the qualities that we find particularly interesting, especially when you compare bamboo to other options, is that nearly every part of the stock is being used. So whether you're talking about solid bamboo, vertical or horizontal, or strand woven bamboo, nearly every part of the stock is able to be either sliced and used for solid bamboo, or crushed and shredded and taken the fibers out of so that you can use it for strand woven bamboo. And so it has very little waste When you compare that to other types of trees, you're probably going to have a bit more waste in that, so you're not really putting the full material to use. And so that's just not the case with bamboo. Now, before moving forward, one of the things that you can do as you're shopping around for bamboo floors and looking at different options is you can look for the FSC certification on the packaging. Now, that's a certification provided by the Forestry Stewardship Council, and that's a way to tell if the grower or the manufacturer of the bamboo is using safe practices for both the growing and harvesting of their material. So just another thing that you can use to make sure that they're abiding by safe practices as they're making the bamboo floors from the stocks. So as with most things, it's not a completely rosy picture. There are a couple things that we should point out before sort of calling bamboo floors the end all when it comes to eco-friendly options. Number one thing you've got to think about is typically bamboo is grown at the expense of another crop. And so there are plenty of crops that help to provide nourishment and food, especially in developing countries. And so what you're doing in some cases is you're removing those crops that can be much more useful to help the local population and replacing them with crops like bamboo, which is then used to manufacture bamboo floors, which are then sent to much more developed countries. So that's just something to keep in mind. And this isn't the case all the time. But there are certainly instances where bamboo is replacing perhaps a more stable crop in certain developing countries. Finally, one thing we mentioned earlier is that while in some parts of the world bamboo is still harvested by hand, demand has increased to the point where they're now having to use some of the heavy machinery that we spoke about earlier, and that heavy machinery can continue to emit harmful gases into the environment. So while the bamboo itself is very eco-friendly, the way in which it's being harvested can actually harm the environment. So we hope that was enough info for you to get a really good understanding about whether or not bamboo floors are an eco-friendly option and what make bamboo floors an eco-friendly option. We also hope that you really look into the things that we mentioned at the end of the video to look out for before making your final purchase decision. Now, if you'd like more information about bamboo floors or other flooring types, we've got plenty of videos on our channel, or you can visit us at allthingsfloor.com. Till next time.